Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Night of Champions prediction. Now, I haven't done one in a long time, so sorry about that. Just the product turned me off. I did the reviews, but I just couldn't bring myself to do a prediction. So I'm glad that the WWE in the last near 2 months have done so well that now they've given me the interest to want to do a new prediction. Maybe I might actually start trying to do SmackDown reviews again. I'm thinking about it. So let's do the first. The thing that's getting me right now, and I had to really think about this. What is upsetting me the most about doing this prediction? Because there was some upsetting me, and then I realized that only 3 belts are being defended, not all 6. Now understand about the IC Championship, because I'm hoping I'm right about it, and I will talk about that later. But the US Championship and the Tag Championship is not being defended. And that's turning me off. That's really upsetting me. But it doesn't mean this isn't going to be a good pay-per-view. So let's get to the number 1 Contenders Turmoil match, which is primetime players, tons of funk, sorry for the cat, tons of funk, 3MB, Usos, and Real Americans. Now, if I got to be honest, the best persons that are going to win should be the primetime players, because Darren Young and Titus O'Neil have been pushed very strong as faces now. Definitely now. This is something that many people were talking about that should have been done last year with Abraham Washington, when they should have been turned faces. They should have been faces first before they got turned heels, because they were going against the grain with them. They were too damn entertaining, and people wanted to cheer them instead of booing them. But now that they've been turned face and they've gotten their push, the best ones to win that is the primetime players. But the ones I wish should win, and I've already stated this many times before, the oldest tag team there should win, and that's the Usos. The Usos have not. I know people are going to say, hey, they had their shot already. They've had a shot already once for that. You said they would never get their shot. They finally got a shot. Yes, I understand that. Yes, that's true. But let's be honest here. There are no more tag teams from 5 or 6 years ago. None. The only ones that are still left is the Usos. Everybody else have disappeared. I know Primo and Epico have been repackaged as El Matadores, but they haven't come back yet. So I'm looking at it from a standpoint of which tag team has been around the longest, is been presented somewhat, and should deserve this title finally. It should be the Usos. I know the primetime players will probably win this, and they probably will. But I really believe the Usos should deserve at least one run with those titles. They've been around long enough that they deserve it. Do I believe they have the charisma and the ability to pull off the tag team championships? To a point, yes. I don't believe they have the great amount of charisma that the primetime players have. Totally different teams. But they deserve it. So I'm hoping eventually they will win these titles. If they do get number 1 contendership, they need to win this title. Because if the Shield keeps it, there's no point. So moving on to the first match, which is the World Championship. I'm going out of order. If this actually happens, I'll be surprised. ADR versus RVD. Am I interested in this match? Really, like a lot of people, no. There's been very little build for it. And the problem is that not many people care that much about ADR right now. There's nothing for him to do until RVD came in. What made it interesting to a point was Ricardo Rodriguez dealing with Alberto Del Rio. And this is where I think they're going with this. I do believe, and if I'm wrong, fine. I'm really wrong, maybe more than most of the time. But I'm hoping that after this Night of Champions pay-per-view, they'll focus more on not on RVD, but on ADR with Ricardo Rodriguez. I believe that RVD is going to win this championship. And then Ricardo Rodriguez is going to finally have a direct feud with ADR. It's not going to be over the belt. Because of what Ricardo Rodriguez did months, I think at least a month or 2 ago, he messed up pretty good. And they punished him for it. This is the best opportunity to finally do something with both these guys. He's not getting the belt. If he does, I'll be very surprised after they punished him and then reward him with the belt. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. But I do believe that having a feud with ADR separate from the belt may really put Ricardo Rodriguez over. He could stay a ring announcer to somebody. He could become a manager to somebody. Or he could actually go out off on himself and do a limited wrestling run. He can wrestle. It's just we haven't seen him do it. So that's what I believe is going to happen with that. Now, the next match, which is very disappointing to me. Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose. That belt should be defended. That's one. But the thing is that what they've been doing with Dolph, and pretty much with Dean Ambrose, is very sad. If anybody remembers my Raw review, I felt sorry for Bray Wyatt, and I felt sorry for Dolph Ziggler. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatts have nothing to do without Kane. Dolph Ziggler has totally nothing to do because they buried him. And in this case, with Dean Ambrose being with the Shield, he's not been presented by himself unless you're going to go over to NXT, which I have seen some of the episodes, which he does pretty good there, but you don't see that on Raw or SmackDown. That's a developmental. You don't see it there. So the problem I see is that both these guys have nothing really to do. Dean Ambrose has not been split off from the Shield yet. He needs to be finally split off. If he went off with the title, it would have worked. But he's been with them for so long, the title really has become very empty. This would have been a perfect opportunity for Dolph Ziggler. Yes, he's held the U.S. title before, I believe. I know he's held the IC championship at least once. And I'm sure he held the U.S. title at least once. But the problem is that now that he's a face, he needs that title, even if it is an undercard belt. But they're not doing it. This is not for the belt. It would have been better if it was. And Dolph is just a sad thing to see. I mean, they had their chance with ADR and him. And instead of letting him stay in the world title scene, even if it wasn't for a belt, to go for the belt, he had a chance. And they just dropped him. So how do I feel about the match? It'll probably be a good match. And in the end, I don't really care who's going to win it. I do believe that there's a good chance Dean Ambrose will win. I don't think they're going to let him lose. But I'll be very happy to see Dolph win. Now, the next match I'm going to talk about will be the Divas Fatal 4-Way with Naomi, Brie Bella, AJ, and I had to do it like that. AJ and Natalya. The two people that are best there, that have been mostly presented, will be Natalya and will be Brie Bella. I know people are going to say, dude, wait a minute. What about Naomi? Maybe someone will say it because that's what I'm saying. Look, you've seen Total Divas. I've seen some of the episodes. And the only reason I watch is for Trinity, Naomi. People, if you haven't seen my shows before, you know I love Trinity McCoy. I love Naomi. I believe that she eventually will become a Divas Championship. This could be it. But if I'm going to see this objectively, the ones they've been presenting the most, particularly what's been going on in Total Divas, is going to be Natalya and Brie Bella. I know they've shown Naomi with Cameron and JoJo along with John, who is Jimmy Uso. I know. But if you're going to be honest, the ones who have been presented on the show and who have been presented on Raw has been either the Bellas or it's been Natalya. That is the truth. And it's going to probably be one of those two people. But if I really believe they want to do something totally different, let Naomi win the belt. She has charisma. People do love her. I know that she's probably still a little botchy in the ring, but there's a problem. You have to understand. If you're doing most of your routines in dance, but not your routines in actually wrestling someone all the time, you're not going to be that good. You're going to be botchy. I take that not with a tiny bit of grain of salt. That upsets me that she's a bit botchy. But I understand the reason why, because she's not presented like other divas. She works with Cameron. She works with tons of funk. So she doesn't have the opportunity all the time to wrestle. She has to dance. She's a great dancer. She's gorgeous. But she's not going to be very good. But if they really want to shake up the Divas division, and they put a total diva against a diva, the best person there to really win it, who has not won it, would be Naomi. And that's the person I hope for. But do I believe that she's going to happen? No. I believe it's going to be either Brie Bella or it's going to be Natalya. Probably Brie Bella more than Natalya. Because of how they present her on the show, she'll probably win. So moving on to the CM Punk and the Curtis Axel with the Paul Heyman in tow, the handcuffed elimination match. I'm hoping Brock Lesnar interferes with the match and CM Punk loses. I know people want to see CM Punk get his hands on Paul Heyman, but I want to see the progression of this storyline. I want to see a CM Punk go after Brock Lesnar. But like I said earlier about the IC Championship, I wouldn't mind seeing Brock Lesnar face a CM Punk while CM Punk has the title. CM Punk having the title, taking it from a Curtis Axel would be a best thing. There's no room right now for him in the title scene for the World or WWE Championship. Let him go to this card. Let him go to the mid-card belt. It'll bring the belt up. He'll be more presented. People will like it. I know people are going to say, dude, I don't want to see him on the belt. But it's the best thing for him. Let him hold that belt. And I do believe he'll have more prestige for that belt. And he'll have more interest with that belt than without it. But that's what I'm hoping for. Do I believe he'll winning a beating for a Paul Heyman? No, I do believe that Curtis Axel will win. If Brock Lesnar comes in or not. So the final match will be Randy Orton against Daniel Bryan. And I know a lot of people love the Bryan. He's not a bad talent. I like him. He's not my favorite one. Sorry, he's not. But let's be honest here. Daniel Bryan is in the Breakfast Club. He is. I'm saying it. It's true. Do I believe it's the wrong thing that he went in there? No, because he's well over and this is going to work. The way they presented Daniel Bryan is great. They made him have to struggle. And he has not gotten over anybody. In general. I mean, he did win in the last Raw. He got over on Randy Orton, who is great as a heel. Much better than he was as a face. But I do believe that he will not win this. I do believe he's going to lose this and he will not be hurt by it. If I'm right and God himself, Triple H, is going to be there, he will interfere in some form or fashion, cause interference either by the Shield or himself or someone else, maybe Big Show. I believe this to the point that, like I say, in time, when we get to WrestleMania 30, it's going to be Daniel Bryan versus God himself, Triple H, in one of the 4 matches I'm stating. A Last Man Standing match, a I Quit match, a Hell in a Cell match, and a Steel Cage match. It's going to happen to put Daniel Bryan over. They need the best person to do it, and Triple H is going to be it. But right now, for Night of Champions, Triple H is going to interfere with this match in some way or form. I do not believe Daniel Bryan will win the title, and he does not need to win it now. If he does, it's going to hurt the storyline. Let him continue losing until at least Survivor Series, and then he wins the title. Let him lose up to TLC. That would actually be the best thing. Keep putting Daniel Bryan against people that he has to struggle with, gets demolished by, and then have to rise to the occasion to win. This is how good storytelling is, and this is what I believe is going to happen. Do I believe this is going to be a good pay-per-view? It probably will be a good one. We're going to get a little bit of surprise, I hope. But I'm still disappointed that the Tag Team Championship is not being presented and the U.S. Championship. I do believe they could have put the Shield there doing something with somebody, and Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler could have been a match. I just feel like they're not doing anything. So I hope you like these predictions. Subscribe and comment to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a thumbs up once in a while. And tell me how you feel about this. Tell me if I need to go back to doing SmackDown reviews. I would like to know, because I've been leaving it alone for a while to try and recoup. I got really burnt out. So give me an idea.